そうですよね。なんか、今年のゴールデンウィークって、結構真ん中空いてるイメージあったんですけど、みんな休みにしちゃうんですねっていう個人的な感想なんですよね。28とか、30とか1、2とかさ、5月の。普通に平日なんだけど、みんな休みにしちゃうらしくて、いいなって思いました。
Alright, chat. Who is ready for some murder? I have sindarkfatez here with Charlie murder. And a small correction on the bid war, it will actually stay open
イ
during
ベ
the
ン
run
ト、本
because
当
the run
にいろん
timer
なと
can
こ
be
ろで
changed
いっ
on the
ぱ
fly.
い、
So
日
if you
本
want to make the runner
だ
pause
っ
the
たり、
bunch,
海
get
外
those
ちょっと少
donations
ない
in.
かもなんですけど、
And
日
with
本
that,
のイベント
welcome
はすごい多くね、や
sindarkfatez
ると思います
and
んで、
introduce yourself.
みんなも、他のイベントを見てあげてください。はい。せっかくね、こう、日本でも RTA のイベントいっぱいやってるんでね、最近特にね、活発化してきてるんで、ぜひ見てあげたらなって思いますね。
Just kidding. There is a tech issue, so
次のあれ
the
ですね、タ
others
イト
will
ル、
be right back.
少しお時
In the
間かかり
meantime,
そ
you
うな
are
ので、
watching No Bitches Allowed 2025. No Bitches Allowed or NOGA is an annual charity event featuring speedruns that rely more on execution of intended mechanics than game-breaking glitches. NOGA will be live from Wednesday, April 23rd through Sunday, April 27th, raising money for Go Risky Pet Adoption Center. To see the full schedule, just type !schedule in chat. And here I was already for
今回
murder,
のイベン
and
ト
now
のこの
I'm
ノーグリッ
by
チ、
myself again. But
ノー
it's
グリッ
alright.
チズアロードですかね。グリッチレスのスピードランやショーケースに特化してるということで、普段見られないようなタイトルだったり、ゲームだったりが多いのかなっていうのもありますんで、こうちょっと普段よく見るタイトルでも、ちょっと違うじゃんみたいなのがあるのがいいイベントなのかなっていう感じなのと、あとこのノーグリッチのこのタイトルのワンちゃんかわいいですねっていうところですね。これがなんかあれらしいですね。チャリティーで、動物保護するための施設に、チャリティーしてるのかな、今回。支援してるのかな、支援団体にチャリティーしてるイベントでして、そこをイメージしてくれてるのか。動物関係で、先ほども猫ちゃん言いましたけど、皆さん動物が好きな方がね、参加してくれてるのも嬉しいなっていうので。その、アメリカ問わずね、日本語でも、ワンちゃんだったり、猫ちゃんのね、支援もありますので、ぜひ。
Alright, howdy y'all, sindarkfatez here, and I'm going to be starting off your morning pretty wild here with a game called Charlie Murder. This game is, you'll see why it's one of the games of all time. And speaking of that blood color bid war, is there any leading color right now? Because we can start off with green. Let's go.
これは何ゲー?
Change that for all my green enjoyers.
Nice.
Alright.
Remember chat, the bid war stays open throughout the run, so you can still change it to red if you are thusly inclined.
Alrighty. That will get started with the run. So the run shall start in 3, 2, 1, go. So this game, we start off in the Netherlands. I'm not from the Netherlands, so you can tell me if this is what the Netherlands looks like. But this is basically just a basic tutorial for like the basics of Charlie Murder. Since Charlie Murder is a beat-em-up platformer with RPG elements. We do have a light punch, heavy attack, we can jump, and the moves you're going to be seeing me spam a lot throughout this run is called Anarchy. That's Acid Rain, and this is going to be Quicken, which you know, makes me move faster. I'm going to just get ready for this cutscene that's coming up soon. So that's pretty much what we're going to be spamming throughout the run. And now I'll give you a spiel about the story real quick. So I'm not sure if this is how just the Netherlands transportation works, but we're rising up all the way back. As we're pretty much getting revived right now, as we were killed by our enemy band, which this is Paul and his gang, which we're going to be meeting them at the end So we can do the battle of the bands. That's basically the whole plot.
絶対
You know,
ボス
there's
じ
a
ゃん、
whole
今の。
apocalypse going on with zombies and
あ、
demons
助から
just
な
like
いじゃ
that,
ん。
but we're more
あ、
worried
助かった。
about the battle of the bands happening, and we need to win that. And so the main movement here is basically to be me activating Quicken, and then I'm going to be doing uppercuts, which
横
pretty
ス
much
クロール
Lister
の
is
アク
the
ション
only
ゲームなんですね。
character right next to Rex that can just cancel his heavy uppercut into another one, which allows him to keep up with the fastest characters in the game. A lot of screens to where we're pretty much forced into enemy combat. We're just going to just be trying to do it as fast as possible until pretty much there's a slowdown, which allows us to know that, you know, we killed all the enemies. We're going to be heading
なかなか
through.
ね、そうですね。
And to basically
なかなか
explain a little bit
こ
more
う、
about the gear, pretty much there's
あれです
pretty
ね。
much
コメントしづらいっちゃ
gear
し
you
づらいん
can
ですけ
have.
ど、
It's a hat, a shirt, and gloves.
そう
And
いう
we
感じなん
have
だみたいな。
specifically for our hat and shirt to where we have 100% cooldown. So we can just spam it all the time without needing to worry
バイ
about
ク乗っ
that.
て、
Gloves really don't
走りが
matter, they
速い。
just kind of boost up our damage. And then accessories
これ、
pretty
後
much
輪だ
will
け
give
でか
us
すぎると多分
small
ウィリー
buffs
す
and
る
all
けど
that.
な。
And this is going to be our first of many auto-scrollers, but auto-scrollers work very differently in this game just because you can actually speed up how fast it goes by just killing all the enemies. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to just hurry up to the second part of the auto-scroller before
物
we
投
get
げ
to
なが
our
ら
first
走ると、
boss.
なんか、
Alright, we missed that one zombie. Oh, he died to one of my accessories here. Okay, I'm getting hurt. I'm getting wombo comboed.
すごい、手裏剣投げてて痛そう。え、一撃や。すげえ。
Alright, so that's the first boss, the ninja bust down, and as you can see, I'm going to be one-shotting everything since I am on the easiest difficulty, and we are on a maxed character with all the shebang, so we really don't have to worry about any of the bosses or enemies hurting us. We'll be making our way to a graveyard.
あ、バイク捨てて、
Since pretty much our next goal is to get to Paul actually owns an amusement park for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. he
ダッ
does,
シュ
he
で
just does.
進んでいくと早いですね。
And I'm gonna give a
高湧き
trigger
ましたよ。
warning for the next cutscene happening. You're gonna be seeing a hanging body. But speaking of that cutscene, we're gonna just jump before the cutscene starts, so we are just further into the screen. And then once a certain point, we can actually just start moving. And pretty much these enemies are just on a constant cycle, so we pretty much intentionally get hit by one just so we can just go past the rest.
結構怖いって。
Alrighty, we're gonna be heading up to those witches are actually to be foreshadowing what we're gonna be using to get to Gore Castle, which is the amusement park. As we pass by the Sasquatch Museum.
ミュージアム来た。
And we're gonna be moving on to another auto scroller, but it's gonna be the same basis as the car one, except we're on a witch's broom and we just have a gun.
いやいや、ほうきにまたがってマシンガン撃つやつがいるかよ。
For Lester, I have the SMG, which as this is me holding X and this is me spamming X, so you can influence certain weapons by how fast you mash.
なんか、
You have to be killing witches and ninjas that fall from the sky somehow. Alright, I'm getting pretty bad RNG so far. We're just gonna do another screen here. Then we're gonna be going down low, and this part's actually kind of act like a traditional auto scroller. No matter how fast you kill these enemies, you still have to wait a certain amount of time before you're able to go back up.
低空飛行でマシンガンっていうのめっちゃ面白いな。
And we're just gonna be doing 2 more waves of enemies before we get to the second boss fight, which may have been hinted earlier by the museum that we passed by before we head into Gore Castle.
上から飛んでくる忍者みたいな、なんか剣を持ってるのが面白い。さっき手裏剣投げてたし、ね、ちょっとわかんないよね、世界。
This will be the last wave. Oh, okay. So that was an awkward spawn, and then we're just gonna pretty much spawn. Okay, nice late spawn. Alright, there you go. That's the Sasquatch.
なんか後ろから出てきたのに、
It's a Gore
なんか
Castle.
秒で死んじゃった。
Everyone's favorite amusement park.
次は
Except, you know, we didn't pay for admission, so we're kind of just breaking in. Which we're going to deal with the people who are dealing with admission to get the ticket right here. And we're just going to just set up pretty much acid rain real quick just so we can...
三星雨みたいな。三星雨みたいなの来た。 もろとも。
And then we're gonna be going to the only skippable cutscene in the game. As soon as we get on this little boat here, we're gonna be able to skip this cutscene, which just introduces a lot more lore about Paul and Charlie. As you know, they were friends, but Charlie betrayed him by not putting him into the band. By the way, the band is called Charlie Murder. Like, that's actually just the band's name.
ボート
I'm
み
not
たい
sure
な
how
の
we, how we
で
would rate that on like the band name tier list.
自動スクロールするわけではなく、
But we'd be coming up.
Well,
城みたいなとこ来ましたよ。
yeah, I'm thinking about it. I can see it being feasible. I mean, I've seen Metal Band Festival posters, and I have friends who have gone there, so just violence in the name, I think, just works well.
そんなめったにしなくていい
Alrighty,
じゃん。
so I
めったに。
kind of opted out to not use a glitch. It's pretty much a minor glitch since it's pretty much just abusing how the elements work in this game. But for certain enemies, as you saw right there, they require me to curb stomp them to fully kill them because they'll just fall to the ground. And so pretty much what you could use is, obviously as the name entails, it's very original, is freeze glitch. To where if you use any ice element or any ice attack, you'll pretty much bypass that need to curb stomp them. And also, I have a question for chat and Foxbird. Are y'all huge fans of the movie called Birdemic?
フックショットだ。次は上に上がるのか。
I've never seen it. I have seen of it. It's pretty funny.
Well, yeah, this whole auto-scroller part is based on this whole movie. We're gonna be using a clothesliner to kill these
一
birds.
点で捕まってるのに
that
結構
spit
自由に動けますね。
acid. Just like in the movie.
I love that.
急に難しくなったの。でも高くね
They also have an awesome
Chat has
explosion.
seen it.
Let's go.
めっちゃ上に打ち込んだ。高くねちょっと。
Oh, no, no, the OST for this game is really good. Dot Studios knows what they're doing. Alrighty, I think this should be the last bird. Nice. That went pretty well. That's gonna be our first of many, like, just screen manips right there. Certain screens you can actually manip where the enemies will spawn. And for that one, if you just stand at a certain
ボス出てき
spot,
そうな流れですけど
you'll
ね。
just influence
こ
them
う
to
なんか
always be
山
on the right
登っ
side.
て。わ
We'll be heading up to Paul over
すごい短い。
right in this little
すごい短い動く
which
床だ。
totally another reference to
あ、
video
ボス
games
出て
that
き
you
そう。
may have heard
ボス
of.
出てきそう。あ、出た。あ、
What is a man?
Oh.
Invisible pile of secrets.
何やってんの死神みたいな。
A lot of question marks.
どうしてこれボスっぽい。お、死神だ。
So this is Phantom Paul. This is our pretty much our first traditional boss fight since we've been just
Phantom Paul.
using, you know, bottles and bullets to kill bosses. But for our main
It's
bosses
guy.
like that, we'll be using Sarmata to where pretty much it just does a whole lot of damage because Acerine doesn't actually do a whole lot of damage on its own unless you're spamming it.
一発だったね、本当に。本当に撫でるだけで死んだんだけ
We
ど。
just moving on over here before we head to our pretty much our first platforming section to where we're just gonna,
いや、
there's
多
gonna
分ボスだ
be,
と思い
you
ま
know,
すよ。
Phantom Paul isn't actually dead.
まだ生きてる、まだ生きてる。あ、
You know,
待ってください。最後の
standing on
力
the
振り絞っ
platform,
て、
this trap door.
あ、
We'll see how the RNG will
めっちゃ単純
be
ですね。
here. Ooh, I got a good spawn, so it's really funny. You really can't influence where you
す
fall
げえ
down
下まで
here,
落ちて
but you kind of want to be this far, right? Over
落ちちゃ
here.
って、
Let's see if I can
下
get
水道みたいな。
there we go. You can kind of skip a
ダック
lot
ス
of
で
these
言うとこの闇村みたいな
shopping
とこ行きま
carts
した。
by just either going like above them or going around
多
them.
分、
And we'll see what cycle we're on. Oops.
多分
It's
ね。
fine.
Oh,
That actually
shit.
sets up my position kind of good, even though my cycle
Oh,
is going to be bad to
sweet.
where I don't have
Mushi
I
da
can
ne.
just
Furu
go
mushi da ne.
throughout all that. Is there any messages so far? This would be a good time.
下水道のネズミはやばいぞ。
Well,
あ、しかも、漏電してる
Sam
よ
is。having a lot of fun with the boss, and I just want to say it's really lovely of the attack to not only kill the boss but also kill your frame rate. I think it's very polite, very 2 for 1.
That is true. Well, we are heading up to our fourth boss, if I'm counting correctly. Oh, there we go. And this part is kind of the scariest part, just because if I there's a couple of waves I have to get rid of,
すげえ落ちていくな。
and to where if I do it too fast, I will pretty much technically soft
強制
lock.
ス
It's
クロー
not
ル。
really a soft
来た。
lock since I can just
ア
exit
クション、
back
横ス
to
クロール
the
アクション
map,
で、恒例の強制スクロールだ。ただ
Uh-oh.
3セーフで全部倒した
but-。Okay. Woo! I got scared there for a moment. I was like, uh-oh.
これ、なんかタイルすごい
Alright,
狭
there
い
you。go. That's our boss down. I got really worried right there.
It really is. Blink and you miss it.
Yeah.
Because I blinked
なん
and
か
I
クリア
missed
クリア
it.
したのか
Why is there a pumpkin?
So that's just a type of
I-
hat you can wear. Like right now.
Oh.
ああ。どの
Also, I'm
落
not
ち着いて
sure what year this game plays like
Oh,
takes
絶
place.
対ボス
We'll
だ。
see it later on, but they have heli vans,
あれさっきの人
Heli
生
vans
きてる
exist
じゃん。
in this world. Alright, we have to kill those first
Yes,
two
we
enemies
go.
before we actually head into like the first genuine auto scroller. And by the way, this is not a glitch. I don't want to hear it in chat. I'm just holding right and just throwing an attack. All right, screen just can't keep up with me. But we're gonna be heading on to a pirate ship, which, oh man, I have a lot to talk about the pirate ship, because it's not only a pirate ship, it's a pirate ship. We're just kind of waiting for this auto scroll to end. Now we're gonna be heading on to the pirate ship, which thank God we don't have to do a lot of like the waves here, just because we're kind of just like on a pseudo new game plus file, so we'll just be holding it right for a lot of this. But yeah,
船みたいなとこ来ましたよ。
so not only are they like pirates just because they're on like a ship and all that, but they're just pirating like music and other types of media, which yeah, that's why they have a bunch of servers down here. We're also wanted for whatever reason. But we do have to clear out this. We have to clear out 2 waves before we head on to the 5th boss, which I'm not sure if you can really tell. I'm not sure if the resolution's apparent or not, but we actually have our resolution set to 1280 by 720. For whatever reason, if you have that as your set resolution, your cursor for this part is way faster. I'm not sure why, it just is.
サメが。
So we're just pretty much gonna be killing sharks here. I think it's like 4-ish waves of sharks
いや
that
い
we
や
just
い
have
や
to
いや
kill.
ダイ
Some of them
ナ
are
マイ
just
ト背負うな
you
よ
know, strapped with explosives for whatever reason.
特攻するな特攻
Then we got one more wave before
And
we.
also wearing ski masks.
Yeah. Yeah. This will be our last wave before we head into the boss, which also just doesn't get an introductory, so I just call him Sea Monster. Not sure if there's a better name for him. Ooh.
ボス来た
So he's gonna just do one attack and then
全然
his
違っ
weak
た
spot shall be exposed, which will pretty much just
人海
one
生物
shot.
で
It
し
will
ょ
randomly appear on his body, which we got lucky there. Appeared on his
これ
chin.
即死やこれも即死だ
Now we're gonna be washing up on a beach, as we're just pretty much gonna be heading towards a camp and an asylum as our next goal to the Battle of the Bands. By the way, this is all for the Battle of the Bands, if you have forgotten. This is all just to get there.
No, it's very apparent. It's all everything I would do if I were being ready to play an instrument.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna be skipping this platforming section by just going up here and just smashing our light punches. It'll just give us a little bit extra height. We'll see how lucky we get during this, just because we got lucky during the first section of curb stomp enemies. We only got one, so hopefully we get ideally one here. If we get two, it's whatever. Alright, looks like we only got one, which is good. And, you know, to get to, you know, the Battle of the Bands right there, we have to throw a baby over this fence so you can get access to this bulldozer.
何それ
You know, just normal
何してんの
things.
これ
Okay, that was bad where
It
he...
is a zombie baby.
It's a normal baby. They all look different depending on what character you play. This is just what Lester's baby looks like. It's not his kid, it's just a baby that's just sitting there at the fence.
何してん
And so basically for this, the key to the actual bulldozer doesn't spawn until the 3rd throw. So you just want to avoid these bottles, since every time you do eat a bottle, you'll pretty much just waste a second or two.
これ何してんの
You can also just use anarchy while you're just kind of here. All right, now we have to react to where the bottle spawns. It's randomly where the big bottle spawns. Key in.
投げて瓶避けさせて
And now we're just gonna hold up just so when this cutscene starts, the baby doesn't have to move.
鍵が中に入ってたんですかね
And funnily enough, you can actually break this fence and get past it, but this game is kind of hard-coded to where you have to activate this cutscene to get to the next screen.
運転できたんだね
So we obviously like to give an early shout out to 1-800-POOP now. Very good name. He was pretty much our dedicated glitch hunter for this game.
遊具を
And,
ぶ
you
っ
know,
壊
he
し
tried to
て
find many ways to skip this fence.
道が開いた
Just
から
gotta
最
kill a
高みたい
wave here before we're actually able to head into the
な。
asylum.
Just want to say I love the pyramid head kind of rocking horse there.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
パンチで進めば入るですね。で三星雨
First
は
good
強いです
wave.
ね、こ
That
の。
first wave is usually the scariest part just because of how vertical this
すげえ
area
範囲
is.
攻撃だ
We're
よ
gonna
ね、
be
これ。
canceling the introduction cutscene for the shambling lunatic. You can kind
なん
of,
か
if you activate
ボスっ
certain
ぽい
attacks,
人
you
すごい
can kind of
たなん
cancel
か
their
ダメージ
animation,
食らってますけど。
like that
あ
like
大丈
the
夫
screen that introduces them.
やめ
Just
て
curb
やめて
stomp them, and that'll be the end of the
Ah.
shambling lunatic. And we'll be heading into the asylum that he came
Oh.
from. Also, there's Mac. Not mac and cheese, just Mac.
クリアみたいです。クリアみたいです。置き攻めしてる感じ
Just
しましたね
eating。dry noodles doesn't sound
な
that
ぜ
appealing
置い
to
て
me.
置いて倒してました。ムービーで倒してました。
Also, I can't tell if this is supposed to be a horror movie reference. It might be two in
病
one.
院
You'll
ですか
see
ね
the other horror movie reference throughout this level, but we're gonna be having occasional slowdowns just because it hypes up and builds anticipation for the next enemy. Also, funny part about Quicken is that you're not intended to go walk this fast throughout this cutscene, but you can kind of just be in it with certain characters that have that anarchy.
敵
Have
が
to
出て
do
こない
another
けど。
wave here real quick. Alright, we got lucky. We're gonna be just setting up a more acid rain for these enemies that
なんか
will pretty much only
病
spawn
院
when the
電気
screen
が
wants
危
to.
ういので、あれですね。
There we go.
暗くなったりしますけ
See if
ど
we、made a good cycle.
進んでいきまして、
Nice.
Then keep on moving on, right? Oh, speaking of these rats, okay. Speaking of, just ran into me. Basically, those are pretty much the worst enemies in the game since if they do a jump attack on you, they're actually fully invincible. You can kill them and they still be alive. It's really annoying. And this is actually, weirdly enough, if you make it to this platform too fast, the game doesn't recognize you're supposed to be over here this fast. So you just have to awkwardly wait. That's kind of like the only timed screen here.
橋が抜け
And
ちゃっ
here's
た。
the other horror movie reference. We're actually in a saw trap now. Specifically for Lester, it's the Venus flytrap. So now we gotta poke out our eye while doing a quick time event, so we can escape this, trap. And also, I can pretty much just AFK here,
捕まってる
and
気がす
nothing
る。
will happen. You cannot die during this section.
捕まってる気がするけど。
You'll just
なんか全
continually
然
just
座っ
keep
て
on
た。タッ
stabbing
プ
your own eye. It's not even like you lose health or
タ
anything.
イミングゲー始まって
There
る
we
な。
go.
あ、いた。あ、取れた。関係ねえじゃん。
It's the end of the
力技じゃん。
asylum.
Different saw trap for each character?
Yes, I can't remember exactly who has who. I know Charlie has the reverse bear trap. I can't remember what the other traps other people have.
あとかけど。
That's pretty fun though.
It is. Alright, so you know how I was referencing what year this game takes, and you're gonna see
なんか
why
スーパー
I'm
マーケッ
not
ト来
sure
ま
if
し
it's
たよ。
that far into the future, just because we're in the meme beams and yeah. But we're gonna be heading on throughout this supermarket here to where we kind of already, obviously new game plus, we kind of already
なんかアステカのスーパーマーケット
the
ですね。
mandatory wave. So it's gonna be just us holding the right for a little bit.
え、
So this
ス
would
ー
be
パー
a
マーケッ
great
ト
time
だと
for
思
any
った。神
messages.
殿なんだけど。謎すぎるだろ。
Yes. If you are looking to donate, make sure to type !donate in chat to get the link to our Tiltify page.
う
where
わ、
you can
絶
make a
対なん
direct
かギシギ
donation.
シした部
We have
屋。
amazing incentives and bid wars for you to choose from, so make sure to get those donations in to help them get met. And right now, you can still change the blood color. It is currently green, but red could catch up. And I believe there will soon be an incentive opened for the Sonic Riders speedrun that is coming up, I think 2 runs from now. Let me check the schedule.
回転のこぎりすごい荒いな動き。ぶっ飛びそうなくらい。軸がブレてる。
Looking forward to that. That is a game that I loved as a child.
No, Sonic Riders is a cool game. Did get back into it with like the tournament edition. But for whatever reason, that trucker's just kind of waiting for us to get on this shopping cart. Also, just ignore what's happening on the screen. This is not.
ショッピングカートでこの坂を降りる感じ、どこかで見たことあるけど、気のせいだな。
But yeah, for whatever reason.
Looks intended to me.
Uh-oh.
なんか見たことありますけど、なんか気の
Yeah,
せ
you're
い
just
だな。
supposed to like just get on ramps
しかも
and
見え
wooden
ないし。
brick walls. And this is pretty much just an auto-scroller
早
as
すぎ
the
て
truck
見えねえし。
chases us for whatever reason. He just wants us killed. But now we're gonna be fighting him in this construction area. So we're just gonna one-shot him real quick. But that's actually not gonna be the end of him. We'll see him later throughout this construction area as he's actually infected. I'm not sure when he got infected, but he just
生
is
きてるけど、
infected.
大丈夫？倒してないけど。
Oh, if you're wondering about the acid and blood, there's both. There's both acid and blood in this game. There is just a lot
So
of
now
green.
it's all green.
It's just all green. All right, for a reason we have to just skateboard over here so we can get to the next part of the construction
これ
site.
スケボーで行った方があれじゃない
Just be doing some quick
時
time
間かかるんじゃ
events.
ねえの
Hopefully I don't miss any. It would be
あ、急になん
I
か
pressed A.
タイミン
No,
グ
no,
出
no,
始
no,
まっ
no.
た。
I pressed A right there. Unlucky. I have not missed a quick time event in forever ago. That is crazy. Alright, we're gonna be doing
い
one
や、
wave
普通に行
here.
った方が早かったんじゃん、これ。
Hopefully none. Okay. Bad spawn. Alright. But we're gonna be skipping these pretty much these
Oh,
switches. Alright. Well, that one might just activate. Okay, that was unlucky. But you can skip that first one by just doing a jump and then punching. We're gonna be skipping using a barrel here just by using the Sarmata attack. I already lost count on how many bosses we're at. We're gonna be upcoming on a boss now. Which it's that in Rhodey. He's actually called a Rhodey. Which this boss works a little bit weirdly. He kind of has two phases. So for this first phase, he'll transform and then we'll just kill him. For the
Yeah,
second
cool.
phase. Now he's officially dead. Also, if you interrupt his cutscene, his introduction cutscene, you actually just kind of soft block the like fight, just because he'll just be fully invincible. Right, we're gonna be picking up this shotgun since we can't use car clips, which is another glitch. To where pretty much if you you can use a certain accessory, to where it'll basically allow you to collect any objects, and to where you can use that to stack up on cars. And if you face a certain way, you can just clip through walls and stuff with the car. But we're just gonna be using just a shopping cart and a shotgun to break these walls. And we're actually in a mall, which this is the biggest RNG point of the run, as there's gonna be 5 enemies that we're gonna have to worry about potentially. We'll see how lucky we get. So this is enemy number 1. All right, that's unlucky. And since we can't use freeze glitch, you know, we kind of just have to deal with them. All right, we got both of them.
なんか敵もなんか
Just run
怖く
towards
なっ
me.
ちゃった。怖くなっちゃ
All
った。
right, we're at 2 out of 5. That's already, what is that, 40%? It's
パンチ
unlucky.
進めは早いですよ。なん
Indeed.
か、ショッピングモールみたいなの来
So
た
there's gonna
ま
be
したけ
2
ど。
more over here. We'll see. All right, we're 3. If 5 out of 5 happens, that will be okay. I might just need to be
謎、
quiet. I
あん
think
まり
I
世界
think
観
I'm
がわかんないけど、なんか
commentating, cursing my own. Get over
怖い
here!
なっていう。
Yeah, the AI is not the best at wanting to attack me. Come on.
相手にしない
We
ですね。
got one more potential spawn. And this one's arguably the worst one since, unlike the other ones, you kind of have to kill him. We'll see. Oh, okay. 4 out of 5. Whatever. Alright. Just gotta activate these switches and get on these platforms. Kind of meant to be a little puzzle. You can just kind of cheese it with just like doing the jump and punch. Now we're gonna be heading out of the mall. We're gonna be heading pretty much into the final area of the game. There's pretty much a lot of lore that you kind of like miss out in this area. You kind of get the final band flashback scene here, which pretty much just shows the game hints a lot at an incident called The Fall, which was pretty much just a club that Charlie Murder was performing at, and it got burned down by Paul and his band. So that's where we'd actually be visiting, is the burnt down nightclub for this last section, which for whatever reason has spiders and also has vampires and SWAT members here. I'm not sure why, they're just here. Speaking of the spiders that have creepy faces,
なんか怖い、
once
怖
we
い
get
雲いる。
down to the basement, I would assume
顔
it
が
would be
怖い雲
where
い
we're
る。
going to see the SWAT members and vampires. For whatever reason, they're working together. Okay, I got shot there. Not good. And then for a lot of these spikes, you can just kind of just go down to the bottom of the screen and just avoid them. Got 2 more screens before we head into the next boss fight and the next, not really auto scroller, but you know, we're gonna be using the broom again.
Was that a Minotaur?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, they're also, yeah, I'll say they're also here. So we got vampires, spiders, SWAT members, and minotaurs.
No, 黒部みたいな。
Coherent.
Alrighty. We'll be heading up
we
to.
just spoke about the Sonic Riders. Sorry. The
Oh.
incentive is now
あ
open.
出た出た魔法の杖かけるマシンガン
For the end of the Sonic Riders speedrun in about, I think, 3 to 4 hours. There will be a bonus showcase. So get your donations in because I want to see that.
Me too. Alright, we just shot down the heli van. And we're actually at the Battle of the Bands. We're finally here. We're at the amusement park that's hosting the Battle of the Bands. We finally made it throughout all of that.
知らない人いるけど。知らない
I'm
人
so
いっぱいいる
excited
け
to
ど。
perform with my band, even though
3人くらい知らない
you
人
know
いる
New
けど。
Game Plus, we're not gonna be able to really see it. But this is pretty much just like the final area of the game. There's no enemies that you have to really worry about here. This is pretty much where the game tells you whether you got the bad or good ending. We're obviously set up for the good ending here, just because that gives you access to the final boss and final level. So pretty much this game just hints you to where all the parts of Smokula are, just so you can get the good ending. Which we'll see Paul in his non-phantom form here. You know, we won the Battle of the Bands, and we're going back to the Netherlands. You know, we started here, and we'd be ending here. All right, that's how it goes.
That's where you go to buy good cheese.
There's going to be a lot of enemies here. Just have to clear pretty much just a whole lot of ways here. See how.
地獄みたいなとこ来た。
Yeah, so we got I think those are scorpion spiders. They shoot out webs, and just got regular demons here, both short and tall. And for whatever reason, you're able to just sell your items here. Not sure why, but there's just a little machine to sell your items. And this, I'm not sure what this is. I'm not sure if it's a mouth or whatever, but yeah, if you touch the ground, you'll spawn in spikes, which we're going to try to avoid it during this screen by just trying to platform our best. It's a little bit awkward when you're going fast with Quicken. All right, I got unlucky, got comboed. Another screen of enemies we have to just take care of real quick. There we go. Then we got pretty much 2 more screens before, you know, we're at the final boss, and time is coming up pretty soon.
結構あれですね。なんか最初
Part
の
of the enemies are not
最
wanting
初の
to
入ってからは
cooperate.
結構敵が出てきますね。あ、そろそろ出てきそうだけど。
Alright. Now we'll just hold right and just get to the final boss, which he's kind of teased at throughout a certain level, but now we're just barely going to be meeting him, which is the Angel of Chaos.
来た。
And time is coming up as soon as
光で全然見えねえ。
is pretty much depleted, so that's coming up real soon after his introduction's done.
なんか来た。エンジェル・オブ・ケイオス来た。
We'll see if we get a lucky crit. Alright, we did not. So pretty much you really can't
ゲー
one
ムが
shot
ま
with
がしい
this
姿になっ
character.
たけど、
Alright, and time.
はい倒されちゃいました。
Alrighty, that'll
特殊かい。
be Charlie Murder.
はい、GG でございます。
Underestimate too, very nice.
Yep. Yeah, sub
あ
30.
あ、強敵でしたね、ラスボスは。
I'll go into my shoutouts right now.
いやー、大変な戦いでしたよ。まさかね、回転の動きで3枚でパーフェクト思いなかったですけどね。
Obviously, huge shoutouts to them for just not only getting me into speedrunning a lot more with this game, but, you know, just being good friends throughout the way. Another shoutout to the server formerly known as Goose Hub. Also, a lot of cool peeps I met through this game. And obviously, thanks NoGA for accepting this game, and I'm glad this game did get off back up. It's always an honor to show off Charlie Murder, as this game means a whole lot to me. And with that, that'll be it for me.
All right, thank you and GG's.
知らない人たちいっぱいいま
Sindarkfatez,
し
thank
た。は
you
い、
for this run. And yeah, the next run
以上ですね。
is Donkey Kong
こちら、
Country
ただいまの
Road
ゲームが
Quest
チャーリー・マー
Regardless,
ダー
so
で
stay
した。
tuned.
なんか大変なゲームだったな印象でございます。はい。 ですね、また続きましてのゲームの準備してまいりますので、一旦失礼いたします。それでは引き続きよろしくお願いいたします。